Alright baby, so this video is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to talk about the major differences between a masculine energy versus feminine energy. Now every person has masculine energy as well as feminine energy. Gender actually does not apply. However, usually men have more masculine energy and females have more of a feminine energy. And when we find that alignment in our authentic energy is usually when we tend to feel best in our life. And we usually reach the most amount of success in this way, as well as having the most amount of relationship satisfaction. Now, I do understand that this topic can be activating for some. So if this is not your style of content, no worries, you do not have to consume it. However, my hopes is that it helps you align with more of your authentic energy. I used to be so much in my masculine energy, and that is for a very specific reason, and childhood upbringing is one of them. But more recently, within like the past year, or I guess couple of years, I have been really trying to move more into that feminine energy so that I can actually successfully run my business, so I don't burn out, so I can optimize essentially my best version of myself. And honestly, when I stopped resisting that feminine essence and that feminine energy, I actually started to receive a lot more from the universe. So my hopes in making this video is to actually show you the differences between that masculine energy and that feminine energy so that you can stand true in yours. So when it comes to the first difference between masculine and feminine energy, we're gonna think of a masculine energy as the art of doing and feminine energy as the art of being. So masculine is very outward and external, and then feminine is very internal and going inward. Now, to touch a little bit more on this masculine energy type, I just want to talk about how society has kind of labeled masculine energy in the past, and kind of so still right now, as bad. Now, I want to point out that when a man is not in his healthy, mature masculine, he can embody his shadow self or his wounded self. Now, unfortunately, today we see a lot of men living more in their wounded space or in their shadow self. And this can be quite destructive because that masculine energy is so external and coming outward. Because like I stated, it's the art of doing. So when a man is much more in his wounded self or his shadow self, he's gonna be much more volatile, controlling, abusive, aggressive, emotionless, or even heartless. This is the type of energy that can also lead to war and crime. So as you guys can tell, the shadow self for the men is a much easier to see because it is so much based on external. Where on the flip side, when we look at the wounded feminine, we're seeing codependency, depression, judgment, that victim mentality, manipulation, and quite insecure. But as you guys can tell by all the things I just listed, a lot of those are internal. Those are things that we are doing to ourselves and that we are essentially attacking ourselves. It's all in our head. It's nothing that is easily seen by everybody around us, where men are projecting. Because at the end of the day, since the masculine energy is so impactful, it's the man's responsibility of projecting that in the right way. The truth is, we don't actually need less masculine energy. We actually need more healthy masculine energy. The kind that brings leadership, peace, structure, and protection. The next difference, I think a lot of us do already know. However, you might not word it or might not like the wording that I'm going to use. But when we think of masculine energy and men tend to be more logical thinkers. They are our problem solvers, and they make their decision based on reason and facts. Where women are more likely to make their decision based on intuition and feeling. We actually rely a lot on our emotional intelligence, those deeper connections that we have with others, and more of a sense of unity. One of the biggest feminine strengths is listening to our intuition. Our intuition is so strong, but not only that, our capacity to feel. She tends to just know because she knows. We are much more in touch with our energy, whether she knows it yet or not. We usually aren't making our decision based on logic, numbers, facts, or practicality. She needs to tune into her body and see how it feels. Whether it feels off or whether it feels good. Where the masculine energy tends to rely on numbers, logic, factual knowledge. The masculine are much more likely to make those difficult decisions when they need to be made because they tend to leave emotion completely out of it. Both can be helpful, and that is the importance of yin and yang and why masculine and feminine work really well together. The next difference is masculine energy tends to be much more linear. from point A to point B. They tend to do really well with structure, with routine, really good in consistency, and tend to have one sense of direction. And their hormones are the same every single day. Where on the flip side, when we look at the female, our hormones are on a 28-day cycle. So the feminine energy is much more cyclical because our hormones are literally moving up and down depending on the day and the week. Now, I don't want you guys to get this twisted. There is a routine that each one of us is going to have in some form of structure. Ours just might not be the same every single day. However, if you look at my month, my routine and my structure is the same. It's just not a daily consistency. It is a monthly consistency because we are cycle tracking. And if you're not cycle tracking, oh my God, trust me, cycle track. It will make your productivity level go like this. And then when you're on your rest days of your month, you can chill. Because men, you don't know what it's like to bleed and you don't know what it's like to have all those hormones altering crazy thoughts in your head and energy levels twisted up. So it doesn't make sense for us to be working on that same 9 to 5 schedule. Go, 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 output, output, output. But if I do decide to step into my masculine energy and work the way the masculine works, it can be really uninspiring and extremely draining. If we force that style of routine, it can actually be really counterproductive. Because like I just said, our body just doesn't work that way. Nor does our energy and nor does our spirit. Of course, we can operate like men. I did it for a long time, but that also entailed me being depressed, burning out all the time, lacking creativity, so many things because I was going against what my menstrual cycle was telling me. And to be honest, most of us were taught this boss babe hustler mentality. But that is exactly how, as a feminine, we feel burnt out and drained. That's not what makes the feminine feel best and have the most positive impact on the world. We are meant to live and operate in cycle. Now, the next difference is how we actually problem solve. So men tend to be less talk or no talk, just action, because they are out here to solve problems, to fix things, to take action, and not really talk about it. Whereas the feminine energy is actually talking is doing, that is taking action. So talking equals action. It's actually how we solve problems. Now, in relationship, this can be quite hard, especially when you're looking at a heterosexual one, because you're having a woman that just needs to vent, and then you're having the man trying to find a solution and problem solve it, essentially stopping the conversation. But we need the conversation to work through the problem. Half the time, I don't even need your advice. I will ask you if I need your advice. Half the time, I have the answer and I just need to talk it out. By him just listening helps me solve the problem. That's why it's the man's responsibility to create that container so we feel safe enough to express or to be in our authentic feminine. The next big difference is that men grow from challenge and that women grow from praise. So when men are challenged, this is exactly how they level up. They go through hardship, gain confidence, take responsibility, breaking through and pushing through their comfort zones. Where women grow by praise or recognition. We want to know what we are doing right and what we are improving on. Then we have the natural inclination of doing more of it. Because more than anything, at the end of the day, the feminine deeply wants to feel love. So when we feel a lot of judgment or criticism, it tends to shut us down and it doesn't let the feminine feel safe. The feminine grows when they are being supported and they feel safe, where men are growing from challenge. The last difference that I want to talk about is the masculine energy being the provider and the feminine energy being the receiver. So when we speak about the man being the provider, we are talking about structure, leadership, protection, safety. And when we're thinking of the feminine receiving, we're thinking about love, creativity, nurturing, beauty, and relationship. The masculine feels best when they are doing these things, as long as they feel appreciated and respected by the feminine. And the feminine feels really good when they're able to relax and receive. However, even though it might seem really easy to receive, it actually can be quite difficult, and a lot of women struggle with this, including myself. All right, babies, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys learned something new in this video, and it kind of opens your eyes up a little bit more into the masculine energy and the feminine energy. I will see you guys later in the week for another video. Cheers.